The Toronto Raptors agreed to trade power forward Pascal Siakam to the Indiana Pacers for 3 players and 3 first-round picks. TK and I went live to record an emergency podcast here in the factory, so that is in all of your feeds. It's on YouTube. You can go check that out. It's about 25 minutes long. Just to refresh your memory, the Raptors got Bruce Brown, Jordan Nwora, Kira Lewis Jr. from the Pelicans, 2 2024 first-round picks, and a 2026 first-round pick. The Raptors did have to waive Christian Koloko, and the Pacers get Siakam and I guess a future second-round pick by way of the Pelicans. This was a little cost-cutting move here from the Pels to get off of the Lewis deal to include that second-round pick so they could get under the luxury tax.
That tax ain't a luxury in New Orleans.
That's right.
We're not doing it.
That's all right.
Hey, you want a Kyra Lewis? Go for it.
Yeah.
Just toss him in.
So, again, we did the emergency podcast, but we got to get your thoughts here, Tass, on the big move yesterday with Siakam going to Indiana. What do you think?
Well, I'm going to miss Pascal Siakam. It was a good run, Pascal. Self-made man, self-made basketball player, 27th pick. All-NBA, All-Star, all that is done. I like how the Raptors gave it a long run. I know the Raptors fans a little upset. No, nothing substantial enough for OG. We should have traded him earlier, Pascal earlier. I understand they gave it almost 5 years here. That year in Tampa really screwed things up. Why did they have to play in Tampa? That prolonged everything. Anyways, I do appreciate that from Masai, giving it a shot. And I do appreciate the package he got back. I understand that people may say 3 first-round picks and 3 guys who may not be on the roster next year, that's not enough. I totally understand that, but I think the Pacers were overpaying in relation to every other team. I don't think they get 3 picks from any other team, but the Pacers wanted a star going into this free agency because they just didn't know who would come. They get all their stars via trade. Tyrese Haliburton and now Pascal Siakam. So that's what they had to do. They gave up those 3 picks. But it is a little scary for the Raptors because Bruce Brown and Jordan Nwora and Kyra Lewis might not even be there next season.
Right.
They're not under contract. Although Bruce Brown is a team option, he's going to be fun with the drive and kick Raptors. We saw it last night. We'll get into that game.
Yeah.
But other than that, Kyra Lewis, he was a lottery pick 4 years ago. He can't even make Pelicans rotation right now. Jordan Nwora, it'll be fun hitting threes for a second, but who knows if he's going to be past this upcoming season. Masai gave up, but to get 3 first-round picks is absolutely decent. And what those 3 picks become, who the heck knows? So all said and done, in this instance, it's a good package. It's as good a package as you can get in the NBA world. But well, it is one of those that, what did that 24 pick become? What did that 26 become? That's really what matters here.
They could be star players or they could be absolutely nobodies.
Yeah, and they will be late. The one from this year is OKC most likely. It's going to be it's via OKC. It's the lowest of those 4 picks. Pascal was a 27th pick. Although this 24 draft apparently ain't all that special.
Right.
But who the heck knows? Again, Pascal was a self-made man. He did not look like he was going to be an all-NBA, an all-star type player. So 3 picks is good is all I'm saying, and the Pacers were willing to give that up. It is unfortunate, they couldn't get a Nembhard from there or even a Buddy Hield from there. They got Bruce Brown, who was awesome for the Denver Nuggets last year in the finals. He was awesome. So he may help the Raptors. He's got that arrogance. He's got that confidence. It was fun. That's what helped him win the championship. So TBD will help the Raptors move on. I think he's going to play a lot. That's for sure.
TK, what do you think after having some time to digest the deal and maybe read some things, hear some other people talk about it? What else you got on this?
I think I like it even more and more for the Pacers to go and get their guy in Pascal Siakam. 2 of the picks will be out the door this summer, right? Like, they're going to lose their pick, which right now is number 19, and then the crazy one that has every, like a third of the teams in the league involved in it, which is currently slotted to be number 27. Yeah, you can get a Pascal Siakam at 27. You can get a Malachi Flynn at 29. Who knows what happens, but at least 2 of them are out the door for the Pacers. So the big concern will be that 2026 season. As long as they're healthy, as long as Siakam does sign a deal there, they're probably giving up somewhere in the middle as well. Who knows, between 15 and 25, depending on what it is. I also maybe underrated how good the Pacers could be. It'll all come down to matchups in the playoffs, but imagine they get a favorable first round matchup, surprise that team, win, and then they take on the Bucks in the second round. They would at least feel confident going into that, and then suddenly you're having a surprise conference finals appearance, which we've seen from teams like the Mavericks in the past, the Hawks in the past. you can accidentally find yourself in the conference finals from time to time. So I think the Pacers did a really good job, especially getting the Pelicans to slide in here, do their business, and not have to get rid of Jalen Smith or Isaiah Jackson or Jarris Walker or these other Canadians that you guys wanted so badly. Great stuff from the Pacers. I gave the Raptors a B yesterday. That's a 2024 grade because I think it's more like a C trending towards a C minus if you go back to the 2021 season. That was a weird year. 27 and 45 for the Raptors. They did not want to pay franchise icon Kyle Lowry, so they signed and traded him for Goran Dragic and Precious Achiuwa. Precious never really did anything for the Raptors. Goran Dragic became a villain, so they had to package a first with him to trade for Thad Young. They lost in the first round of the playoffs that year. Next year, they traded a top 6 protected first for Jakob Poeltl, lost in the play-in tournament. Then Fred VanVleet leaves for nothing. Then OG Anunoby traded for Emmanuel Quickley. Nice, a good find. And RJ Barrett, who's on a big contract and has at least been playing well.
Yep.
Then we see Siakam here for 3 middling picks, and Bruce Brown, a guy that JD's brother doesn't even know who he is.
Right.
It's not great. I'm just saying, you're always telling me trust in Masai.
Yep.
This guy has absolutely not been cooking the past 3 years.
No, for sure. Waited too long. I think we've talked that into the ground on some of these decisions here. He tried to stay competitive, especially the Poeltl move, like you brought up. Giving up the pick to get a center and see if they could do something in a play-in or then a playoffs, and they couldn't even make it to the playoffs. No doubt about it. I think the OG return looks good right now. No doubt. They're going to pay quickly. He's going to be one of their guards for the future. RJ Barrett is incredible when he plays in Canada, so that's good to see. But yeah, this return for Siakam, no, it's not good at all because there's no young prospect to even convince yourself or get excited about. Like we said, with either Bia Kuminga or Josh Green or some of these other teams or some of the guys on the Pacers who they refused to put in this deal. So good for them. The whole part of this, though, is they didn't want to pay Siakam moving forward. That's it, right? And now the Pacers, we did learn after doing the emergency podcast, he's staying in Indiana. He has talked with that team. There are some wink, wink, handshake deals that, yeah, I'm going to be signing here. And I'm fascinated to see what type of deal it is. He could get a 2-year, $81.5 extension with the Pacers. I doubt it will be that. That's up till June 30th. And then, because the Pacers inherit his bird rights, they could go over the salary cap. They could re-sign him to a new contract worth $247 million for 5 years. That's looking at $47 million the first year, and then it goes up to 51, then 55, then 60, then 65. I'm not saying it will be that, but it'll probably be close. But I also love this for Indiana. I do, because nobody signs with this team. Mm-hmm. They never get a free agent. Who's their biggest free agent signing ever? It's probably David West. No offense.
That was a good get.
No
when they got
offense to David West. I honestly think it's the only All-Star that ever signed in free agency. At the time, he was an All-Star and then signed there. Otherwise, you're thinking of Bojan Bogdanovic, Malcolm Brogdon, Bruce Brown, C.J. Miles, T.J. McConnell. It's good players, but no one moving the needle like a Siakam can and should alongside Halliburton. So this is the more I have thought about this, the more I do love it for Indiana. They're betting on Tyrese Halliburton. That's what I love. They're like, nah, he's special. He's special. We have something here. Push some chips in. We still have a lot of draft picks down the line. We still have so much talent on our team. Go for it. Get him a running mate. And this could work incredibly well. Siakam with a bunch of shooters. Halliburton's a great shooter. Buddy Hield is still there. Miles Turner hasn't shot the three all that well this year, but you have to sort of respect his shot as a big. Nesmith shoots a lot of them. He shoots a good percentage. That's a lot of room for him to operate. Siakam there, slicing and doing the little Draymond short roll type thing. I think this is going to be fun. So it's cool that they sort of went for it here with the idea that they're going to sign this guy because they don't get anyone else to ever sign there. And that's what we talked about on the emergency podcast yesterday.
Yeah, it'll be fun. That's exactly why they did it. The Pacers are such a good offensive team. It's interesting to see how Pascal will fit because they love shooting the three. Pascal is going to operate as a two-man, as a two-point shooter. That's where he is incredibly well.
Yeah.
That's where he thrives. He is not a three-point shooter, but they're an incredibly bad defensive team, and that's where he's going to have to pick up this team. They're literally number one in the league as an offensive team. So they're looking at him just to hold things together on the defensive end, and he wanted to get his last big contract of his career. He's turning 30. He wants to get a big fatty, and it wasn't coming from the Raptors, and I totally understand why it wasn't coming from the Raptors. They've got Barrett, they've got Quickly, they've got Barnes. He was duplicating some skills there. That's just the way it was. And he had to move on. And this was year 5 after the Raptors championship that they gave it a shot, and it was prolonged, by the weird Tampa season. It probably would have ended a little bit quicker, but they gave it shot after shot after shot after shot. And it was time to go. That's what it comes down to. It's tough to see him go, but the Pacers are making the right move because they need a defender. They're literally basically at the bottom in terms of defense, and he's going to be asked to guard 1 to 5 over and over and over. And I'm really interested to see what happens with Jakob Poeltl in the future of this Raptors team, because they signed him to a contract, but it is a tradable contract at any time, and I just wonder if that happens at some point, because just watching this team yesterday, how it was drive and kick, 5 guys spaced out, can all shoot the thing, every single one. We know Barrett, Quickly, and Barnes are anchors of this team. And then they're going to add Bruce Brown to this team, who can drive and kick. That's what he does. Yesterday it was Jonte Porter, Michael Porter's bro, starting at center as a 3-point shooter. And so it will be different to see. This is what Darko Rakovic wants. He wants drives and kicks over and over and over. It happened last night. It was an incredible game for the Toronto Raptors. They look so good. So the 5 out is going to be interesting. I don't necessarily think that Jakob is there forever, even though Masai made that deal and said, we're trading a first-round pick for you. Ideally for the Raptors this year, they moved down in the lottery and they're able to keep that pick, because they could keep that pick, because it could literally be in the top 6. Right now it's bottom 7. It's number 7. But in the lottery they could get it. And it's an interesting run here. They're going to give this obviously a good chance, and into next year. Barrett, Quickly, Barnes, and maybe Brown. But that's the weird thing about the Raptors. They may have not got anything other than draft picks in this trade.
Well, the Raptors would have a great record if they just every second night trade a guy and then play a game.